Alright, what's up YouTube? Addicting Air here, back with another video. Today we're going to be doing something a little bit different. I've done a lot of gaming, I've done a lot of random things on this channel, but I wanted to go into cybersecurity and passing the certifications. Now, I want to just preface why you should try to go for it, even if you're not looking at a job in IT like for your career. But I just think it's very useful. It's IT is one of the few fields where you can get kind of far without like college education. Past a certain point you need to. If you want to get into a management position, you will need some sort of degree. But I'm going to go over how to pass the security plus. I've also passed the network plus, the pen test plus, and the CISA plus. I'm going to be going over all that separately because they are slightly different. While the videos are going to be very similar, there are some main points in each of them I want to preface compared to other ones. So we'll go with Security Plus. This is the order I would recommend taking them if you're going to go for CompTIA certs. If you don't know what a certificate is, it's basically just like you pass one test and you get a certification. Basically, you know the basics of security, network security, or not network security, but cybersecurity. So let's get started with my strategy. So the first thing I recommend anyone to do is, so let's say, I think honestly, a good time to spend, depending on how fast you learn, some people learn at different speeds. I would say 1 month, 1 to 2 months is a good amount of time for these beginning certificates. They're not too complicated, but it depends. It could take longer, take less times. So what I recommend for the first 2 weeks is, first you should go gather your resources, right? So you want to see, what should I study? What did other people use to study that helped them after they passed the test, right? So a good place to go would be r/CompTIA, right? They talk about, Security Plus, the 601. I passed the 501, but they're always similar. They're just little changes they make in the objectives. We'll talk about the objectives as well. So here, I took the 601. I used Udemy, which I'll go over, Dion Full Course, and Gibson study guide. So you can just look these up on Google and see what other people think. You could just search, like, searching specifically what test you want. If it's the A plus, there's some network plus, but you need to gather your resources. So I would gather all the resources, take a couple days, just search the internet, search YouTube, and see what you should use. I'll go over what I used for the network, or for the Security Plus. Sorry, I'm getting confused with all these pluses. But yeah, just go over everything and see what's what you like to do. If you're more of a video type of person, go for the videos. If you learn more through reading, or then go for the study guides. From what I've read, the official study guides from CompTIA aren't the best learning resources. Now, pretty universally, that's what I've learned from all these like posts I read on Reddit, that the official study guide is alright, but it's not the best you can get, especially for the books are overpriced as well. So go to Reddit, grab a couple of things. What I used specifically, I used IT Pro TV. So you do have to pay for it. It is a subscription. I think it is, if I can click on pricing here. Actually, I have to switch into, there we go. Sorry about that. If you go into personal plans, so it is, you can try it for free. You can get the full video library for a year, this would cover all the tests you'll take in the future, which is $150. It's not bad. That's pretty good. But if you do monthly, it could be more affordable. If you just want to do 1 month, then maybe you find a better recommendation for something else. So this helped me out. I just watched all the videos. It took about a week. I recommend taking 2 weeks maybe to learn all the learn all the concepts. So I would do this. Also, Udemy is also a really good resource. You could just look up Security Plus course, whatever. You got Dion, like that guy recommended in the Reddit post. You got a bunch of other resources. That's all free. Obviously, YouTube, there's tons of other resources. They're going to be like this video, explaining how you should pass the test. So after you gather all your resources, now it's time to learn. So like I said, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, get all the information you need. Then I would probably recommend uh practice tests. Practice tests is key. Just keep hammering practice tests. I would say for 4 weeks, double the amount of time you spend learning the concepts. It would be better to actually use them in practice tests. So if you study for 1 week, let's say I used for me what it was 2 weeks of like, or I would say 1.5 weeks, 1 week of learning the concepts, and then just hammering up practice tests as much as you can. Tons of free. I know these courses on Udemy also offer practice tests. The official books do. You could look them up online. There's plenty of free resources to use to study, right? So I would just hammer out the practice tests. Then after I finish all the practice tests, I would actually go to the objectives. So let me pull them up right here. The objectives here. So this is after you've hammered out everything, after you've done the practice tests, after you're about a week away from your exam. I won't go over how you schedule it and stuff like that. What I recommend is going on Pearson View. Maybe I'll make a video on that later. Pearson View, PEARSONVUE. That's where you can sign up for like online proctoring exams, or if you want to go to a test center. But anyway, go to the objectives and pretty much go through everything. You should know. You don't have to know everything, right? But you need to have a general idea of what everything is. Remote access Trojan. You just need to know the differences between some of like a worm and a virus. Spyware and adware. What's the difference? It's kind of obvious, but because this is just the security plus, this is more it's more baseline. So I would definitely social engineering. I would say you should definitely be very familiar with it. The different types, there's small differences. So spear phishing and whaling is something people really mix up, because whaling is going after a CEO and spear phishing is going after a group of individuals specifically. Could kind of be the same if it's like a board of directors. Is it technically whaling? Whaling says mostly used for one person, but it could also be used for a whole group of people. It gets weird. You want to make sure you know the little bits of that. CompTIA loves to pick on those things. Just go through everything. Just know the general idea of what all the different things mean. Just know the differences between the different types of actors. You don't have to extensively know about everything, right? So if you go to like all these these smaller things, you get into networking a little bit. When you get into protocols, you need to know what ports they mostly run on. That would be a big thing, but I wouldn't necessarily about managing them and implementing them. It's not that in depth. It's just, like I said, very overview just to get you familiar. But ports and port numbers are a big part of the test. It does give you the percentages right here, like a total up to 100. I would go over the objectives a week before. Make sure you know a little bit about everything and the differences between the other things, like data loss prevention, why it's important. Also, I do want to say that during the test, don't expect them to be like, what's the port number for HTTP? And if you're watching this video and you don't know, and you've studied for 2 weeks, 3 weeks, you haven't studied enough, because it should be like this, like HTTP port 80, boom, right? HTTPS, 443. You should just know that instantly. So if you don't, you need another week. They won't ask questions like that. They won't be like, what is the port number for this protocol? They'll give you a scenario. They'll be like, there's this issue with the web server and it's having trouble accessing HTTP. What should the technician do, or whatever it is? They won't directly ask you, but the answer would be something like, make sure port 80 is open, or port 443, no one should be using HTTP, but you know what I mean. Just, it's all scenarios. It's never asks you directly. It's not like a math problem that's like, solve for X. It's more like kind of like you have to learn how to extract information from the question, if that makes sense. I think that's a big part of the test, is knowing what CompTIA wants from you. So for the first time you're taking a CompTIA test, you won't really know. But once you get to this, like after my third and fourth, like the CISA Plus and the Pentest Plus, while they are harder tests because they're more in depth and they have harder curriculum, was easier for me personally because I knew what CompTIA wanted the answer. Sometimes the answer that CompTIA wants is flat out wrong. There are better answers in the multiple choice, right? You know for a fact because you studied that that's not the right answer, but that's what CompTIA wants to answer. You know what I mean? So you have to get used to that, but that's just something that comes with practice. Um, Besides that, after you do all this, I guess let's go on to yeah, I can bring it back to full screen. Going on to actually taking the exam yourself. So once you get to Pearson VUE, you pay a certain amount of money unless your employer is paying for it. To take the exam, I think it's around $350, and man, it's expensive. I'm not gonna lie, for a lot of people that is expensive, but I can't tell you how many opportunities and how much money you can make at, for such little effort. If you are for the a little time you allocate to do something like this, you can get yourself, like, let's say you don't even want to be in cybersecurity your whole life. Let's say you just want to, make a little bit of money on the side. So I have a couple friends that are doing help desk, which is basically like, helping people with technical problems, while they're going to college. So they are paying for not the whole amount of college, but they're paying off a good amount of their college tuition while they're in college. So they'll go to college, go to school, and then they have like, they can set their times in a way, or they can set their schedules in a way where they can go be help desk after hours, which is really, really good. I can't tell you how many opportunities I've had. I'm getting even more. The higher you keep getting these certs, at the earlier the age, the better. I definitely recommend anyone to go for Security Plus. At least it's the baseline, the most popular certification out there. Then I would go with the Network Plus. So there are performance-based questions, which are basically like a lab, and then there's multiple choice. So if I'm not mistaken, performance-based is like 15%. I don't know if it shows right here. Let me check. It does not. It doesn't show on the objectives, but there is performance based, which is like a lab scenario. Even a drag and drop is technically performance based for them. Personally, I would skip those and then go to the multiple choice. Multiple choice, like 90% of your test. Remember, you got a 25% chance. Something I'd like to say is, sometimes you need an 80% to pass the test, but you only need to know 75% of the content because, like I said, let's say they say, let's just say, what service commonly runs on default on port 80, right? But you don't know it's HTTP. But let's say FTP, HTTPS, SSH, the other ones in that multiple choice. So you can go by elimination and know what the answer is. So you really need to know 75% of the content to pass these tests because the majority of it is multiple choice. Besides that, I think that's it. Good luck if you have any extra questions. I know I didn't go too in depth, but I didn't want it to be a long video. People don't like long video tutorials. That's pretty much it. I will see you later. I'll probably make a Network Plus, Pen Test, and CISA Plus videos. They won't be too different from this. There will be some things I should focus more on in those videos, but they'll roughly be the same. That's pretty much it. I will see you all in the next video. Peace.